Attorney Menchaca, what are the main requirements to apply for an E-2 visa?
The E-2 visa is an investor visa. I call it the small investor visa. And obviously the first requirement is going to be that you invest in your own business in the United States. The second requirement is that the business you invest in be able to create jobs in the United States.
Okay, so what is the typical amount that people invest with this visa?
So look, I recommend a minimum of $100,000. Although, as I say that, I know that I've had many clients who have invested anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000 and have successfully obtained their E-2 visas. So the minimum is probably somewhere in there, okay? Now, let me tell you what the law says. The law says invest the minimum amount of money needed to be successful in the business that you choose. Okay, so if you invest in a big business and you want to create, say, a car company to compete with Ford and Toyota, then you're going to need millions and millions of dollars. Versus if you want to come to the United States to open up a bakery and all it takes is $75,000 to open up a bakery and be successful, then your minimum is going to be $75,000. You set your own minimum when you choose the business you want to invest in.
So in your experience, what type of businesses do people usually invest in?
Oh, so many. I've been doing what I do for a long time, so I can't even remember them all. I'll give you some examples. Dry cleaning, insurance companies, consulting companies, security companies, bakeries, transportation companies, 18-wheelers that move things around, small transportation companies that move like FedEx boxes and deliver for FedEx, restaurants, and all sorts of franchise businesses.
I see. So in one of the requirements you mentioned that you needed to create jobs. How do you know how many jobs to create with this visa?
So again, the E-2 visa law is very flexible. What it says is that you need to create the number of jobs needed to be successful. Okay, so if you need 1,000 jobs in order to compete with Ford and Toyota and make cars, then your minimum is going to be 1,000 jobs. If you're going to need a bakery and that takes only 4 jobs, then 4 jobs is what you need to do. The law says, look, I want you to create a business that's big enough for you to be able to make a living as the investor. And I also want other people to be able to make a living off your business. So that means create jobs, but the number is flexible depending on the business that you choose.
So one last question. Is anybody in the world that wants to invest in the United States eligible to apply for an E-2 visa?
Unfortunately, not everybody, but most people are. So the United States and your country of nationality need to have a commercial treaty between the two. And if they do, then your countries would be on the list of E-2 countries. So if you have the nationality of a country that's on the E-2 country list, you can qualify. And if you want to find the list of E-2 countries, you can find it on the website of my law firm.
Thank you, Attorney Menchaca.
My pleasure.